talk about our ability to participate and how important this process is, we have Katie Matheson from Alliance for a Better Utah. And Katie, I can't thank you enough for joining us because this is so important. We've talked about this a lot on Sunday edition and pointing out the opportunity for just rank and file Utah citizens like you and me to participate. How is the participating unfolding? Are we being involved?
That's a hard question. I would say on the whole, yes, Utahns are involved in the process. Some of it is very public. There are people going to these meetings, and there's also a lot of people submitting different types of maps. Now, there is a two-track system to redistricting this year, which is the first time, as you said, that this has happened. And at some meetings for the legislature, I've noticed slightly less participation than with the Independent Redistricting Commission, which I like to call the People's Commission because we voted to create it in 2018. So, for example, the legislature has received probably under 40, maybe around 40 maps from the public. And that's congressional maps, House district maps, state Senate, and then school board maps. Whereas the Independent Commission has received, last I heard, around 1,000. Now, those are community of interest maps, which take less time to create, which, is understandable why there would be more of them.
The thing that many of us are wondering is how seriously is the legislature going to take all of this? Quite a few initiatives and propositions were on the ballot very recently. Some of them were somewhat radically watered down by the legislature in the next legislative session. In your opinion, based on the gut feel you have observing from the rather significant point that you have where you see a lot of this unfolding, do you anticipate the legislature going, we need to take this very seriously, what the people have recommended?
Well, of course, lawmakers, just like the rest of us, vary in the ways that they approach things, in the way that they're approaching this process. I imagine some of them probably have in their minds things that they want to see in these maps, and I imagine some of them are really interested in feedback. I think it varies. Now, I don't think that the answer to your question is set in stone, that there is no thing that will just come to be regardless of what we do. If we want the committee, the legislature, to implement the people's maps, the maps that are created by the People's Commission, which we voted for in 2018, we need to tell them that we want them to implement those maps. And so there is a wide array of things that could possibly happen in the future, and it all depends on the public's engagement now through the mid-November, which is when the legislature will decide on our final maps.
Katie, just as a final quick question on this, it is so important. How can we all get involved? Can you remind us?
Yeah, so people can go to the legislative committee meetings and the Independent Redistricting Commission meetings. You can also go on either one of their websites and comment on maps that have been created or create your own maps. My suggestion is to go to the UIRC, Utah Independent Redistricting Commission's website. They have maps that they have already created there, a number of options for the different types of maps that they have to create. Give comment on those maps. I have heard these commissioners say the feedback is so important and it is so helpful to them. So if you only have a few minutes, go look at a few of the maps and give your opinion on what those maps look like.
Katie, we so appreciate your participation here on Sunday Edition. Thank you for